Hey guys, welcome back to Battlefield Doctor. This is my first impressions on Overwatch. So at first I really wasn't sure what to think here. The movement is fairly normal. However, one thing I noticed about the aim is that it's kind of jumpy when you get to the end. It goes from kind of slow to really fast, I guess for quick turning, but that's something that wasn't really in a lot of FPSs that I've been playing. Another thing that kind of shook me up when I was playing first off here is that your left trigger is not for iron sights or scope, it's for an ability. And that is something that's really hard to get used to as somebody who plays games like Battlefield. Because I find myself all the time trying to zoom into iron sights or the scope or whatever, and I'm just wasting one of my abilities, which is incredibly frustrating, but it's something I'll have to get used to if I'm going to play this. So here we are, we're at the target range, using your gun to shoot, whatever, teaching you. So here I am. Do headshots work? Yes, they do. Confirmed. Okay. Easy enough. I think the colors look great. Everything looks polished. It's beautiful. So far from what I've seen, the characters are really well balanced. They kind of have their own little niche. So they're all kind of unique and fun to play, which gives you a huge variety in play. Even though there's only 3 modes and 12 maps, with 21 characters, there's just boundless possibilities of what the match is going to be like. And I think that's what makes it so fun. And there's so many different ways to play each character. Now there is a tier system. I haven't got it fully worked out yet. Start at bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and diamond. After that, I believe it goes master and above. I'm not really sure yet. Now this is Soldier 76, if you didn't catch that from the video. He's probably one of the easiest characters to use, switching over from an FPS like Battlefield, because it's pretty simple. Point, shoot. You've got a rocket splash damage, which I really think of as a grenade. You have a heal button, which is cool, and you have a run, which a lot of the other characters don't have, so that was really nice for me, being able to just run ahead when other characters you kind of have to just sort of walk, which can be frustrating coming from a game like Battlefield or Call of Duty or anything like that. Still, I was having fun. It was new, it was interesting. There's something different in a FPS shooter where you can have fun, kind of a MOBA style, which for me I think is super cool, having a MOBA shooter. I've heard it's comparable to Battleborn, where some people most people, I guess it is, just seem to love this one over Battleborn. Now he has this special here, which is basically an auto aim. You pretty much can't miss as long as you're looking near them, which is kind of cool. But I mean, if you're a good aimer, I don't really see how this is that big a deal. Especially if you're aiming by yourself, you can just shoot them in the head, rather than, I guess this is just body shots. I mean, for people who aren't really serious FPS shooters, which I guess this is aimed towards, that is a great ability. Okay, so pretty simple. A lot of this is like, you know, capture the flag, just like it is in a lot of other things. Sorry, capture the area. Domination, you know, get on the flag area. Pretty simple. Alright, so that's the tutorial. Let's move on to a little bit of actual gameplay.
Replay the tutorial or face off against other players.
Alright, so here we are. We into the menu and in training. I'm gonna go practice against some AIs because there's so many different characters to choose from. You're really gonna want to go and play that mode and just try out each character for a little bit. Trust me, it's worth it, even though it might seem a little easy. Now, here's a really important thing about the game, is there isn't really much of a progression system. In fact, there is almost none, except for building up the ranks to Platinum, Diamond, and working against harder people. However, there is skins, voices, spray paints, a whole bunch of other stuff, which is, you know, most people really don't care about this stuff, to be honest. So that's not that exciting. How do you get it? Every time you level up, you get a free loot box. So each loot box contains 5 things. It can be anything from a legendary skin to weapons, spray paints, player emoticons. Sorry, not player emoticons, player pictures there up in the top right corner. I have the Overwatch on right now. So that's an important thing to note, is that you pretty much have everything to start off with. Everything else is just cosmetic. So there is no play to win feature, which is really cool. Another thing that's maybe a touch frustrating is you can't just go buy cool skins like you can in League of Legends. You have to just get them from luck of the draw, which is also frustrating. You imagine they would want to just take your money, but I guess not. So here we are. This is not an actual game, it's a skirmish, so this is in between games when you can't quite find one. There's a couple of players on, you can just go kill each other, kill some time, which is a cool feature in my mind. I think it's awesome that you can just have something to do while you're waiting, rather than staring at a loading screen or whatever. Okay, still trying to get used to the sensitivity and the way they aim in this game. It's a little bit different, but getting the hang of it. So again, Soldier 76, super easy to use. Kind of feels a little cheap here because these guys clearly are not ready to be playing against people. Kind of have a leg up being a previous FPS shooter and playing an FPS character. Now, this character is going to seem really tempting to use when you go into play against regular people because of its you know, point click. It's easy, and you have the splash damage. You're like, cool, I can pretty much hurt the entire team in one shot. Well, most of the time not really, because quite often people don't bunch up. They spread out and they try and play the field a little bit better. So that's an important thing to note. Chances are you're not going to be able to hit more than 2 or 3 people with that at a time if you're lucky. Unless you're playing a capture the point, in which case, even then, a lot of times they're not going to bunch up for you. They're going to kind of, a few of them are going to stick back and try and pick you off a little bit. So as you can see here, these guys really just were not ready to be playing against people because this is a skirmish before an AI game. So let's just kind of jump ahead. There's not much more to see here. Okay, here we are. We've joined a game against AIs because I wanted to practice. I wanted to try different characters. And here I was a little confused. What do you do? I'm running around this room like, can't get out. What the hell? So when you start a game and you're attacking, the defenders get about a minute to prepare for your attack. So that's something to note, that they might in fact be waiting right outside these doors. So be careful with that.
Attack commences in 30 seconds. Order will be returned.
It's kind of cool that they talk to each other. I like that. Anyways, here we go. We're going to run in, try and kill some people. Alright, so here I am shooting, and then I fired off my rockets because I actually meant to zoom in so I could shoot some people. Again, that is something that's going to be hard to get used to. One of the really important things I've noticed is having a proper team dynamic. You need to make sure you have some sort of healer, you know, some tank characters, some DPS, damage per second if you don't know what that means. You really have to balance the characters. Also, there's certain characters that are incredibly strong against other characters just because of the way they're built. And that's a really cool mechanic, is that when you die, you can switch characters so that you can kind of counteract what characters they have. For instance, if they have Bastion, he's kind of a turret. You can sit down and just mow people down with his machine gun. You can grab Genji, which is a ninja with a sword, and he has a deflect ability, which is really cool because you can just run up while he's trying to shoot you and deflect them right back at him, and he's dead. So that's one example of playing a character to mitigate somebody else's character, which may be doing a lot of damage. Anyways, this game looks really easy playing against AIs because obviously they just punch together for you guys to kill. They're not very tactical. Let me tell you this, it is 100 times more difficult when you go into an actual game. Be prepared for that. Test out your characters in this AI setting. Play a whole bunch of games, play each character, and find one that really suits your playstyle. So, what's my first impression? First impression, graphics, beautiful, 10 out of 10. I love it. It's amazing. Everything looks great. I've noticed little to none in frame drop-off or glitchiness. Everything looks super polished. 2, how balanced is it? Well, there is a couple balance issues that I've been told. I haven't really seen them yet, so be wary of that. 3, there's no real progression system, which can make for kind of a boring long-term play. But if you love the mechanics of just getting in there and having an intense round, then you're going to have fun over and over and over again. It's addicting. I turned it on last night. I did not want to turn it off. 4, as an FPS, it's kind of hard for me to put it in that category. Even though you can shoot guns, it's not quite the same. You know, it's kind of its little subgenre of a MOBA shooter, which I think really needs to have its own area rather than be called an FPS, in my opinion. So what do I think of the game? I think it's absolute awesome game. Value, $80 on the PC. Jesus Christ. That's expensive. I would put this game's value at maybe 50 until they really start to put more stuff out, just because there's no storyline, there's no progression, everything's just sort of RNG loot, which means random, and that can be really frustrating. So is it a fun game? Yes. Is it worth $80?
Well done.
Maybe. It depends. If you can play this game and do the same things over and over again, even though there is other characters, then it's fine. If you just enjoy that intense battle, it's awesome. It's totally worth the $80. But if you want a storyline, you want a great progression, I don't think it's the game for you, really, unless you're into MOBA shooters and you like that kind of just skill-based play. Anyways, that's my first impressions of Overwatch. Battlefield Doctor, over and out. Remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment.